Hi, I've just sorted out my acrylic stay wet palette. I've just changed the membrane, but it should have soaked really, but it will soak up. But I've got white, alizarin crimson, light red or cadmium red, light red, ultramarine, black, some lemon yellow and yellow ochre. I'll add to that a bit of viridian. Let's just squeeze some out on it. It's getting a bit old now, the viridian. Years old, this tub, or this tube. Now it doesn't want to. Oh, it's a messy business. Right, that's it. Okay, now I did this one yesterday. It looks okay online, but I don't really like it. But it's getting quite favourable reviews, and it's on Facebook and had quite a few likes. So maybe it's not as bad as I think it is, but I thought it got very muddy because the paper was a bit too wet when I was applying the washes. So it went dark too early. So what I'm going to try to do is a version of it in acrylic using the stipple technique. And some years ago I bought these long inch flats. They're Chinese bristle brushes, and they're very, very good for this sort of work. So we'll have some fun with this. I don't know which way it's going to go, but I'll start by putting in some nice distance, some foliage. So I'll get the nice and blue, bit of white, bit of crimson, plenty of blue. Well, I want it on the blue side, so dobbing. So you can see there's another demo under there, but I didn't like it, and they don't all work. They're good demos, but they're not sort of studio quality, or at least gallery quality. So as we come out of that, we'll change the colours subtly. We've got this coming up here. We'll bang a bit coming up that. You can do it with sponges, but this way you build up an impasto, a lovely surface that will take more paints. And now I have primed this, as you can see, with light red. That just happened to be handy. I've mixed it with some PVA varnish, glue. It could be anything PVA. It's all plastic. And some plaster of Paris. I've shown you how on one of my videos. In fact, the two tutorials I've done on preparing surfaces for oil on hardboard, acrylic and oil on paper, using gesso, I've done those, and those, sad to say, those views have outstripped the views on some of the paintings. Nice bit of shadow in there. Let's get some darks in there. All this gets changed. I'm just building up a surface. I have no idea where I'm going, which way I'm going to develop this, but it's going to be the Wandle River, or the River Wandle, my local river. It runs from well, it's just debatable, but Croydon, East Croydon to the Thames, dropping about 126 feet, and a lot of work is going on this 16-mile river at the moment. It has a lot of lottery funding. Even as late as the 1960s, it was designated a sewer. How sad is that, eh? This gorgeous, gorgeous river. In suburbia, not very pleasant suburbia, some of it. It goes through several estates, and it does both industrial and domestic housing. And it's just been a tip for donkey's years, but now it's got great big carpet, shoals of trout, chub, barbel, you name it, it's there. The only thing we haven't got is a Loch Ness Monster. But it's not a big river or anything like that. It's not like the Orinoco or the Amazon or even the Thames. It's just a beautiful chalk stream. But at its best, you can see the surface, there's very little mud in it. It's fast flowing, but they're trying to make it flow even faster, the Environment Agency, so that we get another winter as we had last year or early this year, with all the rain we had. Excuse me, much used brush. So one or two areas where it did flood, so they're putting in some meanders on some straight stretches of the river. There's a bit of red in there. That red's a bit dry, I think, but very strong. Come down here. Let's put some in here. The idea is to bleed everything into it, each side, just reflect the sky to start with. As this dries, and it dries very quickly, as you know, it puts lots of pimples on the paper, and these become very, very useful further on in the painting when you're using lots of subtly changing colours. It's not exactly pointillism because I'm doing with all the brush and not just the tip. Now this one comes down, there's a big bush in there. So I want to be fairly accurate, and a commenter has made quite rightly that I might have spent too much time trying to make a photographic copy of the photo I took yesterday to do this one. And it's quite true, you can. But there are things that you want to look a reasonable representation of what you took, because it might live again as part of some sort of society that are interested in this river. But if too many people say, well, where's that? It doesn't look anywhere near what he's trying to show. So I'm bearing that in mind. We've got a bit of a bank coming up here. Some nice light catching the light. And then more lemony. So this is a nice bit of light coming here. I'll start thinking about complementary colours as we get into this. We've got a bank coming down here. Bit of ochre in there. It's not a path that side. It's all factory estates where this was this photograph comes from. Let's just get some nice shadow in there. These darks, they're going to get painted over. There's very little detail on the photograph. It's autumn now, but there's still a lot of leaf on the trees. There's loads of leaves. But if you're going to paint lights, you need to put it on darks. Otherwise, they don't show. But it's all going to be very subtle, this. And I'll tell you what a good mix is. Alizarin crimson for darks, alizarin crimson, and alizarin crimson and alizarin. Now alizarin crimson and the viridian. It makes a wonderful, rich, warm dark. You can get a complete range of lovely greys with this. Mix a bit of white in it, a bit of yellow. You can get a lovely variety of colour with it, rather than using the Payne's grey or black or something, which, as you know, I'm trying to get away from. But I like black and yellow rather than Payne's grey and yellow. So let's just build up this stipple technique into there, because this side is slightly near to where I was over here taking the photograph, well down here somewhere, taking the photograph up the river, and it's all very closed in, but I'm going to give it a bit of distance. You don't, I'm not saying or demonstrating the way that I usually paint. I paint all manner of styles, as you know. I don't stick to one. So let's get this in. I want a bit of shadow in here because I'm going to superimpose some lighter leaves over that. The great Terry Harrison uses sponges to do all this. But hey, you put the paint on how you like, whatever works for you. We're all different, and we like to do different things. And there's another shadow. I'll put a bit of burnt umber in there if I can find some. I will be going to America in the not too distant future for some time. Oh, sorry. And I'm going to stock up some of these paints. They might be, that's if they're cheaper. Right. But I need a tube of burnt umber. That's all I've got. I need a large tube. And I will be doing some stuff out there and posting on YouTube. Alright, okay, so let's mix a nice green with the umber. Mix a bit of lemon yellow, bit of black. So we've got the darks in here. Shadow, there's a bit of the reflections. Right, okay. See, we've got a nice bit of stuff going on there. Right, put that in the pot and use another brush, and we'll do some sky colour. Now I think alizarin and the ultramarine might be and white. There might be a good bet for that. For the cloud that was right across the top here, and oops, they put that in my cup of tea. Oh, a bit of red, a bit of light red in there. Too light, dark, a bit lighter than that. Now, don't worry about this, I'm just putting in a background colour just to give some texture to paint over. As you build up your textures like this, you can drag like a dry brush, and this was a nice bluey sort of colour, but it will be because I'm going to put it in. Right, let's go back to some sky colour or some lighter. Right, you can see that we're getting a decent. I don't know if you can't really see with the camera. You need a raking angle to be able to see this. But we're just building up slowly. Let's get using the Viridian and some light red in there as well with the lemon yellow. That light red is ferocious. The Viridian is quite a weak colour by comparison to the alizarin in oil or acrylic or watercolour. I don't use ready-made greens, usually with, certainly not with watercolour. I prefer to mix them all up. Now we've got a bank down there, so let's put a bank in. This is all going to be reflection in there. And here we've got, I'll have to use another brush for this. So no, I'm not working from a photograph. I'm working from the thing I did yesterday. I don't know whether this will be in 1 or 2 parts. See how bored I get, because they take time. And I don't do time lapse. In fact, I wish I could stop my video camera and carry on after lunch or something, but I can't. I have to record one video or in 2 parts because it takes too long to edit them all together. So I don't. Okay, let's get some lights back in there. Now, if you've watched Alan Owen's latest one on the sea picture with the little lighthouse, lesson learned there, it happens to all of us. It ended up a lovely little picture, but you start off well, like this, you start off well, and then all of a sudden it starts to go downhill. You lose it. Quite normal. You lose it and you think, how am I going to get out of that? How am I going to make a painting out of it? And you start working around the edges, and bit by bit it all comes together again. It comes up again. We all go through that stage. It's not a particular painter, in this case Alan, we all do it, it all happens to us all. We lose it. So I'm going to put in a bit of reflection across here, coming down here, of this background, this distance. But I don't want that too light because I want to put some light behind it. So here we are, just going across here. I wouldn't have thought Mono did this. I think he used the points of a brush to do it rather than loads of bristles. Okay, so we've got some cloud across there, but beware of that light red. It's overpowering, but you want some red in it. It's far stronger than the ultramarine that I'm mixing it with. But I think the alizarin is a better colour in acrylic. Watercolour is fine with the light red. But this is only background, it's all going to be gone over. I want little dots. And then we can go back in with our lights as that dries. And we've got, I'll put in some of the cloud reflection. All right, let's do it like that. I could do it with great slabs of paint on the brush. I mean, I'm just doing this as a diversion, as a bit of fun really. Right, let's put in some sky now, some nice yellow ochre sky. And I'm going to work from my painting, from my watercolour. I'm just starting to model a bit of the cloud now. We've got this nice. I do love skies. I look at them all the time. You can't really avoid it, but I'm looking at it not to see whether it's going to rain or not, but just to see the light that you get. Painting the light. Okay, let's just moderate that a little bit there. They're all very gentle and changey. Oh, just a little bit that peeping through here. It's quite a nice bit of light. I think my watercolour sky was quite nice. It was just the foliage that went wrong. The reflection in through the middle of it, that was quite good. I quite like that. This turned out really nice and atmospheric, as it should be, because you're painting atmosphere. But as I think Turner said, make your skies, your clouds of silver, not of lead. Haven't seen the film with Timothy Spall yet. I'm looking forward to that. Playing W.M. Turner. Much more light, although they're too dark, those clouds at the moment. Just work away. Lost and found, just get all this, especially in the distant, the further away trees. Okay. So now we're in a stage where we're losing it all, but we know we're doing that. So let's start putting in some greens, some bluey greens. Mix a bit of viridian, bit of ultramarine, bit of ultramarine, bit of lemon yellow. But on the blue side, for these back here, I want these set back in the landscape. I'm getting darker as we come forward. A bit darker than that. There was a break between the trees in the photo, so we'll put that in. I need some more lemon yellow. Let's just clean the palette a little bit. I hope to be speaking to Alan on the phone tonight. We share things. Oh, yeah. Oh no, it's got my jeans. Oh dear, that's me in trouble. Right, excuse me, I think I'll have a break there. I need to go and clean that. I'll be back later.